because I'm frankly the oldest person here. So, I mean, I've got ties older than most of the speakers here, so I am the old one. But I am going to give you a different perspective as an investor and as someone who got the planet into this mess in the first place. So I do believe my generation, I made a speech the other day, last night in Barcelona, that my generation fell asleep at the wheel. The quality of leadership that we have has never been so poor, and it's my generation that got us into this, and it's my generation that will hand the baton off to you folks, hopefully in a little better state. So what have I got? I've got a sustainable swimwear brand, Pursuit the label. I've got a sustainable version of Amazon, ethically sourced, locally sourced, sustainable products onto a marketplace specifically for hotels. So I've done a lot in that space. I'm on the board of Open ESG. What is Open ESG? Open ESG is a sustainable scoring platform. It helps you attract investors and customers by giving each brand a score. So you would score Bella, you would score Earth, you would score yourselves, your own brand, you put it on your website. It's all entirely free. It's entirely fast. It's dynamic, so you can get a better score the better that you do. Fundamentally, it's all about making the scoring system more transparent, more sustainable, and more attractive for everybody to come on board. Currently, I think about only 40% of listed companies have an ESG score, and that's pretty appalling. Frankly, 0.00001% of companies in the world have got an ESG score. What this is about is making it free for everybody, completely ubiquitous, completely transparent. You self-assess. If you want it verified by Open ESG, then we start to charge you. But that's the payoff. That's the business model. But frankly, for me, Open ESG is I made the mistake, folks, of calculating how many days I've been on the planet. And today's theme is about time. I do want to get over to you about time. I've been on the planet in excess of 22,000 days. That makes me about 100, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. And if I do an analysis of how many days I've got left, let's say another 20 years at best, that means I only want global material change. That's, of all the businesses that I've invested in, that's what I look for, global material change. I want something that moves the needle. Open ESG does that because it gives it to everybody, and it's very, very regional focused. How you monitor and measure ESG in Africa is entirely different how you measure it from the Middle East. Putting women on boards in the Middle East is different from putting women on boards in Europe and in the West and Africa. So, and that's kind of what my story was. I have a business where I put women onto boards and people of color onto boards. I don't need to bore you with the diversity story. And one day my best mate said to me, if you're such a great believer in women, why have you never invested in it? And that's when I started going down the route of investing into female founders. And it was those fabulous, innovative women that took me down the direction of sustainability. I had no clue, even with 2 daughters, I had no clue. And it was those fabulous women that took me in the direction of making the world a better place. I'm particularly focused on sustainability and financial inclusion. That's kind of my shtick, i.e. raising the tide for everybody. We can't have the disparity that we have in the United Kingdom, or indeed around the world, of the haves and have-nots. It's morally wrong. It's morally wrong that where you live can affect how long you live for. That's a fact, and it's morally wrong. So let's raise the tide for everybody. And it's not just people of color, it's not just women. The underperforming group of London is actually white, poor boys. Let's raise the tide for everybody. So an Open ESG does that because it's a self-assessment, free, transparent scoring system for Unilever or to all the brands here. All sizes, all free, and you can do it per per brand or per item of clothing. So we've got Pursuit the Label are talking to them. So their sustainable swimwear, it's in fact ocean waste. It's actually fishing nets. It's actually swimsuits made out of fishing nets. And then what they do is they fundamentally will self-assess it. You self-assess it, and then they give you a score, and you put that on your website, and you attract investors, you attract customers, and you attract and retain customers, because that's the key, I think, in terms of retention of customers. I've got a couple of things. So there is a theme around time, and I do, what I noticed from Pursuit the Label, and indeed my Amazon kind of sustainable brand, is they're not thinking big enough. If I look at them, they're not thinking big enough. They're thinking necessarily in hundreds of thousands of revenues. As I said earlier, I don't want to do anything small, so what I would urge you all to rocket fuel the business. You might have to give away some equity to some horrible people like me, but I would recommend that you rocket fuel the business, because you haven't got forever. There's a lot of competition out there for pounds at the moment. But I would take either debt money or investment, or go to the bank, and I would rocket fuel the business and add an extra couple of noughts to your turnover. Add a couple to your projections. Then you'll get the attention of people like me, because they want material change. Because at the moment, obviously the UK is a little bit sticky in terms of investment. I was in Barcelona 12 hours ago. Europe is awash with money. Singapore is awash with money. The Middle East is pouring thousands upon millions into female founders and sustainability. So I would certainly look, obviously the Americans have got money, we knew that already, but I think the German-speaking region, Singapore and the Middle East are awash with money in terms of finding a place for good sustainable brands. From what I saw in there and in what I've seen in here, you really have a different story to take. You just need to up the ante, get it out there a lot more, because I think now is your time. And I said to my daughters, they're not, when I talk to them, they're not bothered about who you're going out with, who you're seeing, where you're going, how big your house is. They're interested in the planet and treating people with respect, particularly on today, as it's Pride Day. So I think I'm going to shut up now, but if you have any questions, please shout them out. I'm happy to take any questions, and obviously if you want money, then I will be in that room over there. No, I'm kidding. But yes, any questions?
Suggest getting your name out there, because for some brands the marketing sort of have the funds to do the marketing and to get our name out as much as we would like to.
I would argue I'm probably the most connected man in London in terms of the world of private equity and terms of investing, because I've been doing it such a long time. So you do need a person in from your contact base. You do need a way in, because I wouldn't say it's a closed shop, but it's tough, because you don't have a marketing budget. You have to pay the payroll on your credit card, like I had to do. So I know that, but I think you've got to identify someone in your network who is a route in, or a friend of a friend, that you can get in. But I think it's people. It's not marketing. I'm not a marketing person, so I'm not really into SEO. I'm about to go on the board of a football club, and what they want is data, AI, investment, and ESG. They all want that. I'm that bullseye of data, AI. Everyone's all about AI now, and indeed investment. So to answer your question, I'm happy to give you my card, and you can, and I can help if I can. I can get you into that world, yeah.
I have a daughter who has a small boutique in Fulham, Habsburg and Bourbon, and it's just 6 years of struggle, challenge. I don't know what to do. We've had to close the shop because we had a broken boiler, which we did see, but we didn't realize it was going to break. All the staff have gone now, and we've been closed for 4 months. And it's just been a headache thinking, not just about staff, just about cash flow. We've got a few repairs to do. It's not like
What does the shop do?
well, we did do beauty, we did do blow dries, but it's just cash flow to pay wages, so we rented out the space.
I think the answer, and it's similar to that lady, is partners. One thing people forget about is you must use partnerships. You won't have the footprint on your own. You're all lovely people, but you won't have the footprint. How I scaled businesses is through partnerships.
Hundreds of people. They don't want to collaborate or partner. I don't want to. I just don't understand people. And literally, I've not met people, and I've had them come in one day, and they're just time wasters. Or they're either jealous or they're vindictive. They just don't understand.
You sound like meeting investors, people like me. Look, I'm happy to help if I can, but I think it answers in positive steps. You ask any founder here, it's bloody hard. You have to get knocked over 47 times and then back up. But we are here to do it. Okay? And what we should do is all pull together and to help. That's what I'm about. It's making the circle bigger for everybody. Let's make the tide raise. Let's make the cake bigger for everybody. And how we do that is by offering the hand of friendship to people that you don't normally would help, people that you haven't helped, people that have wronged you. It's a pain in the arse to do.
I need a helping hand, I need a feature, or I need a shoot, or I just ask for anything. They say yeah, and then say like a few days later, you contact them, they pretend they haven't even said it. So there's a lot of that, time wasters.
Let me speak to you later. But I think the answer is network, partners. It is very hard work, but you may have to change the messaging. The narrative might be wrong. You do need to change the messaging, and I don't know. I don't know the narrative. Any other questions? And I'll wrap up. I think this gentleman is getting me off.
Not so much a question, but I guess just asking advice. What advice do you have for social enterprises that are focused on animal rights, but also in that kind of intersectionality between animal rights and sustainability and environmentalism, where they're not really interested in profiting, for their own pocket, but obviously profiting as a social enterprise to further the cause. I don't know if that sums it up.
Well, I think I'm setting up a foundation, and my foundation is fundamentally trying to get people from the wrong side of the tracks into the world of investing. We have to change the face of investing. It's lovely people, but they all came from Oxford and Cambridge and Eton. The problem with that is groupthink. And the world's best example of groupthink was 11 German men sat round a table at Volkswagen and said, let's cheat the emission system. Morally wrong. Illegal in most countries of the world, and you go to prison for that, and I don't look good in orange. So in answer to your point, you have to forget whether you make money. You need to go to family offices, foundations, but certainly family offices. Foundations a bit longer. Family offices are people who are like the Ford company. That wealth has been powered down. IKEA, Walmart, Levi, Nike. Those are all Ford. Those are all family offices. You go and speak to those folks. I've got a few in. And identify one person who has a passion for tigers, who has a passion for animal cruelty, has a passion for trees. That's the one person that you need. You do need a philanthropist. It's, again, bloody hard work to find them, and you have to kiss 1,000 frogs. But trust me, when you get there, you're going to make the world a better place, as is everybody here. That's what you've got to do. And it's enormously difficult. But with the energy here, now is your time, and I'm going to wrap up because it is about time. Now is the time to make a difference. When the world is in a strange place, But now is the time to make a difference. I'll let you finish off. Or I'll wrap up. Thank you anyway. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to get Vic Riches now, right? Yeah. So Vic Riches is going to take the stage again. She's been doing for 2 days and talk about digital reality with the metaverse and how that versus physical fashion. So yeah, she'll be on shortly. Thank you, guys.